Claude's Opus 4.7 just dropped. It's better than 4.6 in most areas and meaningfully better in a couple others, but there's about 2 things buried in this release that will silently cost you money or just break your workflow if you don't know about them. So I'm going to be walking you through the actual benchmarks, explaining what they tested, what the numbers actually mean in practice, and my thoughts on all of this and the best ways to actually capitalize on this release. So first, just a bit of context, because Anthropic is releasing models a little differently right now. About 2 weeks ago, they released something called Mythos Preview, which is just their most capable model to date, where they're keeping it on a very short leash because their own internal testing, it flagged it as capable enough in cybersecurity that they weren't comfortable releasing it broadly. Now, it's up for debate whether this is, just a marketing scheme and completely fabricated, but you could think of this as their, we know this is powerful, we're being careful here. So Opus 4.7, it's sitting just below Mythos Preview, so it's not necessarily a dumbed down version or dumbed down model. It's a genuine upgrade on 4.6. But if you're looking at the chart and wondering why there's still a gap at the top, that is going to be why. So Anthropic, they're just deliberately staging these releases while they actually are just working out the kinks, working out the safeguards. And that context right there, it just matters for reading the benchmarks because there are a couple spots where 4.7 is intentionally held back. And I'll flag those as well. So SWE Bench Pro, this is the main coding benchmark. So it works like this, where you just give the model a real GitHub issue from a real code base, and it has to write a patch that is going to fix it without being told what to change. So there's not any hints, any scaffolding, it's just the issue and the repo. Now, Opus 4.6, it scored 53.4 on that test. 4.7 is about 64.3. So that's roughly a 10-point jump, which is pretty substantial. And to put that into plain terms, on the hardest class of real-world coding tasks, 4.7, it's successfully completing about 10 more out of every 100 that 4.6 was. Now, if you're using Claude for any sort of code generation, either directly or just directly through something like Cursor or Custom Agent, this is the number that matters the most. Agentic terminal tasks. So this one tests the model's ability to actually navigate a terminal, run commands, and complete multi-step system-level tasks all autonomously. So you can think of like bash scripting, the file manipulation, and interacting with running processes. Now 4.6, it scored about 65.4%. 4.7 scored about 69.4%. So that's a smaller jump, about 4 points compared to the coding benchmark. Now, Anthropic's own cybersecurity guardrails have probably explained some of this, where the terminal access is just where a lot of potentially dangerous capability actually lives. So they've been pretty conservative here, seemingly. So you do get a real improvement, but it's not the same step change that you see in pure coding. Now, the visual reasoning benchmark. So this is just going to test the model's ability to actually interpret, analyze, and reason about what it sees in images. So this went from 69.1 to 82.1%, 13-point jump. So for reference, the SWE benchmark improvement that I was just talking about, 10 points, and I could just call that substantial. Obviously, this is much bigger. So why this actually matters practically is because Anthropic, they just raised their image resolution cap from 1568 pixels on the long edge to 2576. So the model, it's not just smarter about images, it can actually see them in much finer detail as well. So for you, this means like if you're doing anything with screenshots, diagrams, PDFs, and converting them to images or UI reviews or any document extraction, 4.7, it'll just be able to perform noticeably better than 4.6. Now the reasoning and the knowledge. So humanity's last exam, it is just a benchmark that was specifically designed to be hard enough that a high score, it would be very meaningful. So it's expert level questions across science, math, and humanities that most humans, usually cannot reliably answer. 4.6, it scored around 40%. 4.7 scored 46.9%. Now the graduate level reasoning, so the GPQA, this shows consistent improvement as well. So neither of these are necessarily headline grabbing jumps, but they're definitely solid improvements. And for applications that involve research and analysis, or just working through any complex multi-step problems, that improvement, it is going to be compounding over a long context. Now where it does actually go backwards, interestingly enough, is agentic search and web browsing. So on the browser comp benchmark, which just tests a model's ability to navigate websites and complete tasks through a browser, 4.7 underperforms 4.6 actually. This isn't really any random noise. It's almost certainly related to the cybersecurity guardrails, I would wager, and the unrestricted web browsing capability. It's one of the vectors that actually makes powerful models very risky, and Anthropic, they just tightened up here on purpose. So cybersecurity, vulnerability reproduction. This also is slightly down from 4.6. Again, this is intentional, where Anthropic, they just added real-time safeguards that are just going to be detecting and blocking requests in the cybersecurity domain. So if you do any legitimate security work like pen testing or red teaming, vulnerability research, anything like that, they have a cyber verification program that just gives you reduced restrictions. So I'll put a link down below in the description if you are interested in that. So if your workflows do depend heavily on agentic browsing, benchmark on 4.7 before you just commit to upgrading. So for most people, it's not going to matter. You don't even know what this is going to mean, but if web navigation is central to your agent's job, then just check first. All right, so here's what actually changed under the hood. So this is the stuff that will actually be affecting how you use the model. So this is the X high effort level. So the effort level ladder, it used to be low to medium to high to max. Now 4.7, it actually adds a new tier called X high. That just obviously stands for extra high. It sits between high and max, where the idea is that like for any coding and agentic tasks, high, it wasn't quite pushing the model hard enough, but max, it was just overkill, expensive. It took way too long. And X high, it's just tuned for like that sweet spot on difficult technical work. Now Anthropic, they'd already set Claude Code's default effort level to X high for all plans. So if you're building on the API and doing any coding or multi-step agentic tasks, this is the recommended starting point. So I wouldn't even change anything from here. Now the adaptive thinking, in any previous models, if you did want the model to reason through a problem before answering anything, you needed to set a fixed token budget for its thinking. So you'd say, think for up to 2,000 tokens, and then the model, it used up to that cap, whether it was needed or not. Now 4.7, it replaces that with adaptive thinking. So you essentially just set a thinking type of adaptive. You could pick an effort level and the model just decides how much thinking the task actually warrants. So simple questions, they just get a quick internal pass. Hard problems, they get a very deep one. Now the actual gotcha here is that thinking content, it's now just omitted from the response by default. So if your product streams the model's reasonings to your users, some interfaces, they're going to be showing this as like the thinking section before the answer, and that will just go silent when you actually upgrade. So you do have to opt back in explicitly using a display parameter. And if you don't know about this and you upgrade your users, they will just see long pauses before outputs with no explanations. So you need to add this to your upgrade checklist. Now, next up, there is a new tokenizer, and this is the one that will be costing you. So this is the most important operational change in this release by far, and it's buried in the migration guide from what I found. So Opus 4.7, it uses a new tokenizer. So it's the same input that costs you X tokens on 4.6 can cost you up to 35% more tokens on 4.7. So the pricing per million tokens, it's unchanged. So it's still $5 in, $25 out, but the model, it's just counting the same text differently. So your actual bill can go up without you changing a single line of code or prompt. So if you have dashboards tracking your token spend or hard caps on max tokens per request or a cost per task estimate that you've built your pricing around, all of those are going to need to be rebaselined on 4.7 before you fully migrate. And Anthropic's migration guide, it just says to measure the difference on real traffic before committing. So obviously do that. The high resolution vision and its token cost. So the new resolution cap, it's about 2576 pixels on the log edge and about 3.75 megapixels. So the old cap, it was about 1,568. This is a model level change, not an API parameter, which just means that images you send, they will automatically be processed at a new resolution. So the cost associated with this is that a full resolution image, it can now just use up to about 4,700 tokens versus around 1,600 before. So if you're sending a lot of images and you don't need pixel perfect detail, say you're just using vision to read button labels or extract text from forms, just downsample your images before sending. So the model, it doesn't need anything crazy like 2576 pixel resolution to just read a simple text field. So just save the tokens for when the resolution actually matters. That's what I recommend. So some behavior changes that are worth knowing, there's about 5. So the shorter answers on simple questions, 4.7, it calibrates response length. 4.7, it calibrates the response length more aggressively. So if you had prompts that relied on 4.6 verbosity to feel complete, they may feel kind of curt now. So you just either live with it or just be explicit in your prompt about the desired length. Next, you do have to have more literal instruction following. So this is a real change. So 4.6, it would sometimes just generalize things where if you said like do X for item A, it might do X for items A through D because it figured that was helpful. 4.7 does explicitly what you said. So if you have prompts that were written assuming that kind of helpful extrapolation, they need to be updated. Next is the more direct tone. So there's less opening validation and just fewer emojis by default. Now this matters for more customer-facing applications where you've tuned your prompts around a much warmer default style. Additional to that, there's fewer sub-agents by default. So the model, it does prefer to reason through a problem rather than just spin up sub-agents. So if your architecture depends on heavy sub-agent delegation, you need to be prompting for it explicitly or just bump up to the higher extra high effort. Now there's also fewer tool calls tools by default. So it's the same logic. It just reasons more before reaching for tools. So if you are seeing fewer tool invocations than expected, this is going to be why. So if you are a regular Claude user, not just building on the API, just use it. It's better. There's nothing to actually configure. If you're building on the API, the upgrade, it is worth it, but it's not a drop-in switch. And the tokenizer change, it means that you need to actually measure your cost on your traffic before you actually start migrating. And the adaptive thinking change, it means that you need to check whether you're streaming reasoning to the users or not. And also the behavior changes. This means that you should just audit your most important prompts, especially any that are going to be relied on the model just generalizing from partial instructions, and of course, the vision improvements. This is the clearest no-brainer. If visual reasoning is part of your workflow, that jump from 69, 82%, it's very real and it'll show in the coding improvement. But in any case, I just wanted to give my thoughts, give my take on what I think about all this stuff and make it very simple and easy to digest. But with that being said, there will be more videos here coming soon on 4.7. So make sure to subscribe and check out all of those. And if you're a business owner looking to start using AI inside of your operation, we're actually running a workshop showing how we have helped more than 42 companies double their productivity within the past year. So make sure to sign up for that. It'll be on April 29th. Link will be down below in the description if you're interested in seeing that workshop. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.